Hello everyone, this is Bob Ryan for the Shed app, here to show you our latest update. It allows you to use operation details to fine-tune operation costs and reconcile and resolve issues faster. Now the details on operation costs are maintained across items with the ability to edit the operation value for each item, allowing you to audit and fine-tune operation costs quickly and easily. We've also made it possible to add operations via the View Building screen. For our demonstration, of course, we're using simulated data. So let's get started. Recall that operations are completed during production, so to show you how this works, I'll start by navigating to Manage Throughput and bring up an order that is currently pending production. There are, of course, other ways to navigate to the operation details in the Shed app, but for the purposes of this video, the Production Status Update and the View Building pages will be good places to start. So based on the workflow for my company, I've set up a custom pending production view here. This shows me all of the orders that are currently pending production. Be sure to check out our other videos for help in setting up your own custom views. For now, I'll click on the building serial number here, which brings up the View Building page for this building. Then I'll click Change here under the Production Status. This brings up the Production Status Update page. This is typically the page the plant will use to update the system as the building moves through production. This page may look different depending on the specific production statuses you have set up for your company. We'll update this to Production Started by clicking here and confirming. I'll close the confirmation message and select Framing Finished. Now I can click here to see the item details for this operation. As you can see, I'm able to select a different user and change the item details if I wish to. But this is only because I'm an admin user. Other roles do not have this permission. When I update the value here, it automatically updates the total cost for the operation, as you can see here. I'll confirm this status change and then close the confirmation message. Now I'll go up here and click on the Operations Timeline tab. As you can see, the timeline shows the current status is Framing Finished, and the framing operation has been completed. If I click here, I can see the operation details, and I'm looking at the framing amount for the building model, a door, and a window. As an admin, I also have the option of clicking here to update any of these values. Notice that the total framing is currently $187.30. Let me update the value for the door from $12.10 to $15. Now, when I apply the updated value by clicking here and closing, you'll see that the total framing amount automatically reflects the increase. Note that I can only update the values up until the operation is processed. That's typically when the operation is paid for. And that's accomplished on the Shed app under the Process Payables menu, which we cover in another video. This is to ensure that any payment reconciliations maintain integrity. If you need to make an adjustment to the operation costs, it's best to add the operation and operation costs via the View Building page, which I will cover later in this video. On the operations timeline, you are allowed to add operations to any of the pending production statuses. For example, I can opt to add an operation for paint finished because this production status is still pending. So let's click here and see what this looks like. I'm going to select a painting operation, and I'll give it a value of $5. Now let's go ahead and assign this to a user as well, and then click here to save, and then close. Now you'll notice that on the operation we just added, we don't have any item details available. When we add an operation, the operation is considered as being added to the building instead of the items that make up the building. Now, the newly added operation will be completed along with the other pending operations when this production status is completed. Let's check out how all this looks on the operations list on the View Building page. I'm going to click here to close the production status update page, and then scroll down to the operations list. Here we can see that this building has operations for framing, painting, and roofing. We also have the new painting operation that we added on the operations timeline. And if I hover here, I can see the statistics for the operations on this building at a glance. If I click here, I can also see the details for the operation. Again, for framing, I'm looking at the framing amount for the building model, a door, and a window. As I said earlier, this editing is only available to users with an admin or manager role and only if an operation has not been processed. If I need to update any of these values, I click here. Let's cancel out of this for now. Also notice I have the ability to add an operation to this building right from here as well. To do this, I click here on the Add at the top right. Let's select a new framing operation and assign it to a user. And we'll add a cost. Note that I do not have the option to associate the operation I'm adding with the production status like we did earlier in the video when we added the painting operation to the painting finish production status. So, operations can be added at any time on this page regardless of whether or not the building has already been produced, but keep in mind the added operation is always marked as completed. To see what this looks like, let's go ahead and click here to add the new framing operation, and then close it. So, looking at the operations list, here is the newly added framing operation, and we can see here that the date completed for this operation was right when I added it. Now I'm going to click up here and expand this column to be able to see the full name of the user. So, similar to other operations, I can update this operation up until the operation has been processed by clicking here. All right, that wraps up this update. We trust that Operations Detail will help you ensure data accuracy and make reconciliation much easier and faster. And we'll see you next time with more Simplified Shed Stuff.